How are you today? I'm primarily talking to women, but of course no harm in men watching too. But encouraging women to make the best of their lives, wherever they are, is something that's very much on my heart. There are so many aspects to that, but I'm just talking about 4 points today. I'm Tuula and I live in Finland. The first thing that I'm thinking of is accepting our background. So whatever your background is, what country, when you were born, who your parents are, what kind of schooling you had, what your home was like, if you come from a rich or a poor or something in between family, think of that as a strength in your life. It might have been difficult, definitely. You might be saying now that it's easy for her to say. She comes from Finland, that has again just been ranked as the happiest country in the world, 4th time in running. And true, I do know that in Finland, women in general have less to struggle to make their life the way they like it to be. But the message of accepting your background even here is equally important. I come from a simple farming family from the countryside, and at times I have seen that as a disadvantage. My home was adequate, and my parents very much stressed the importance of education, made sure that we all got good education. So that was definitely an advantage. But we lived in a fairly remote place and didn't have many visitors. And that fact has made me struggle in relationships right through my life. Probably because as a child I did not have a wealth of different types of relationships. But whatever difficulties our background has caused for us, one thing is the same for everyone. It can make us understand other people better. And that already is something very important. We all can see the positives and the negatives of our background and then accept that that's me, that's where I started from, and this is what I have to build on. The next thing is that age doesn't matter. You may be 19 or 35 or 50 or 70, but at any age you can make differences to your life, you can improve, you can start going for your dreams, or you can look for new dreams. You can choose to do interesting things at a very young age or when you are a little bit older. One example of that in Finland is that a year ago when the corona crisis started, the government ministers who were making the decisions on how to lead the country in the crisis were almost all women under 40. And our prime minister, who has been the main leader through this crisis, is in her mid-30s. And later on in life, you may be able to make better decisions simply because you have more life experience. Last year, I was a guest at a 50th birthday party of a woman I know, and I'll never forget how excited she was about her future. So she had just turned 50. A couple of years before that, she had finished her training at a university, completely changing the profession she had done. She has 4 children of different ages, and her eyes were really shining when she was saying about how excited she was about the future and about her new career. I also decided to make a big change in my life 5 years ago by leaving my teaching job and deciding to go freelance, and then little by little ended up mainly being a YouTuber. And right now I'm looking into the future, not really sure about all the different things I'm going to do, but all the time looking for new opportunities and new interesting things. So whatever your age, don't let it limit you. The third thing is thinking outside the box. And what we mean by that is finding solutions that are not the first thing that comes to your mind or something that everybody expects you to do, whatever the situation. And this is something you can do in whatever situation in your life and at every age too, of course. And they can be small things in life or very major things. Say, for instance, that you are a young woman who hasn't been able to find a job, whatever the reason. So could you think of something that you know how to do so that you could employ yourself? Like there are opportunities with so many different international platforms or freelance work like Fiverr or Upwork. Are there skills that you know how to do that you could maybe even do at home that people are prepared to pay for? That's one example. or tutoring online is very popular, especially at this time. Or if you are a young mother, very busy with kids all the time, what could you think for them to do? Or how to combine things so that the kids do one thing and you do one thing? Or just recently I heard a very good solution to the ages-old problem of how much children are allowed to be on the iPads or whatever they use. Someone that I know has a 6-year-old son, and there's a constant fight about the iPad, and she was suggested a great solution to that. The child is allowed as much time on the iPad as he plays outside. One example of my own life, when I was 15 or 16, so a long time ago. At that time there wasn't much career planning in Finnish schools, but there was some. And we were asked to take this test where you were drawing all sorts of things. And then the career counselor, I think a psychologist, interpreted that. And I was told never to go for jobs like nursing or engineering were the examples, because those are the kind of jobs where things have to be done in a certain way, in certain order, and you have to be able to comply to that. And on the basis of what I had been drawing, they said I had far too much imagination for those sort of jobs. And that's really what my life has been. They told me then to go for creative work, and I have. But maybe you are a mother of teenagers or young adults. What can you do to encourage my children or other young people that I'm in contact with? Find solutions and make decisions in their lives that are really for them, not what I would want or what the society wants, but something that really fulfills what they are as people. That's something very important too. So whatever things in your life at this moment you need to look for solutions for, try to see if there's a different way to look at it than what first comes to mind. The fourth thing is taking baby steps, small steps, one by one, to achieve something, whatever it is. Many goals seem impossibly difficult to achieve if you think only of the final aim, what you're going to do or achieve or get done. But if you break it up into tiny steps and only do one at a time and only think of one at a time, then it's much more achievable. And the same works in so many different things. I have a bad example about myself when I did not use that. For, I'm sure, 3 years, I have had a fairly exact idea of an ebook I want to write. But it just seems that I never have enough time to do all of it. But if I had done, like many people suggest, that I would have done 15 minutes a day, or even in this case 15 minutes a week, I would have had it written long ago now. I have started now with 15 minutes a day. And the same idea works also if you have some kind of a problem or crisis or something that you need to adjust to or learn or sort out. When you think about the entire thing, it can feel impossible to cope with or impossible to learn or whatever. But if you break it into smaller bits and think that today I only need to sort this thing out or cope with this here part of this problem, then next week I'll think of the next part, then it's much more achievable. And also you are less likely to feel so overwhelmed by whatever it is that you don't even try. Do you have examples of any of these things that I've been talking about here? Please tell me in the comments. And have a great day and a great week.